Hi, hello, welcome back to my channel. It's your girl Stephanie, and we have Gio, my G here with me for a part 2. You guys asked for her to come back, and so yeah, we're delivering. Sorry it took a little while, you know, a lot of things were going on. We had this play, she had a lead role, so you know, it was a lot going on, but we're here to deliver. Oh, and for anybody who also gave other suggestions, my sister Cassandra, I'm still working on that. Just know I'm working on it. And yeah, oh, and I want to, before I forget, give a shout out to General G, you call him Soldier, because he is very supportive, and he definitely watched the last one, told me that he really enjoyed it. He always tells me about the videos that he watches. He gives me his input, feedback, what I could do better. Oh, I misspelled a word, whatever. I really appreciate you. So shout out to you, G, for that. Thank you so much. Yes, Soldier. All right, y'all. So we're just gonna get into this conversation. Something light, you know, part 2 about dating, celibacy, and marriage. I do have a few questions for you. Yes. I'm going to start off with this, though, because I feel like when I speak to people, a lot of people are going through a lot. They are in situationships, okay? Situationships, for those who don't know, I think we know what it is, but basically you're doing a lot of stuff. There's a lot of either emotions involved, whether you're physically doing things. The lines are blurred, but there is no title, there is no commitment. So with that being said, what are your thoughts on situationships, right? Because I mean, I feel like sometimes people, the intention may be to date, maybe not, but then it turns into a situationship. Yeah. What are your thoughts, and how can we prevent that into turning into a situationship?
Yeah, I personally do not like situationships. I feel like it blurs a lot of lines, and I feel like you go through like a lot of emotional turmoil when you're in a situationship, right? Because maybe you want something and the person doesn't want the same thing, and you both don't align when it comes to the goals of the relationship. So I feel like situationships are personally not something that I would want to participate in. And I think the reason why a lot of people get the lines blurred is because, I mean, they be trying to be friends with people that they're attracted to, and you know,
or and I'm not, line.
yeah, or they cross the line with. And I'm not saying that you can't be friends with attractive people. Right? That's not the case. But like when your intention when you first see the person is to be with them, it's gonna be very hard for you to want to stay in that friend role, right? If I'm looking at somebody and I'm like, ooh, I want that, you know, or whatever the case may be, my first thing is not gonna be like, oh, let's just be friends. Like, you're going to want to date the person so that way you can see if there's something, you know, further, and you could, you know, be in a relationship potentially. And I think a lot of the times, you know, people like, I don't know, they be thinking that they could be a soldier out here, like, sorry, soldier, but like, they think they could be a soldier out here, like, you know, trying to be friends with people that they clearly like and stuff like that. So I think that sometimes that's when it becomes blurred, and then you start expressing your care and love for this person, and then maybe they don't feel the same way, or maybe they're not ready for a relationship, so they say, but it's really they're not ready for a relationship with you. I mean, so it's so many things, right? But personally, like, I just feel like, I think how we can stop situationships is, you know, set your standard or set your goal, right? If you want to be in a relationship and you notice that the person that you're talking to is not with that, then you got to dead that situation, because they're probably not going to change soon, right? So I feel like you have to uphold your end of the bargain, so that way, you know, you don't fall into stuff like that.
So now, this goes along the lines of a question that I'll ask later on, but do you feel like in the event that you are involved, you find yourself in a situationship, is there a time period?
To be in a situationship?
Yeah.
The time you find out that you're in it, you should leave it. Well, I mean, if we're being practical, I guess it's up to the person. I guess it's up to the person for real. Like, how much more can you take of this person not wanting to claim you in that sense? Right? And once you figure that out, that time is ticking, and the goal of, you know, I want to be in a serious relationship, or I want to get married and all that stuff, and those are your goals, and you realize that time is ticking and this person is not it, I think that you should just move forward, because clearly they're not giving you, or they're not meeting up to whatever it is that you want, right? They're not meeting up to the fact that you want a serious relationship, or that you want to get married, or that you want to whatever. So yeah, I think the time limit is based on the person. Now for me, the moment I figure out that I am in a situationship, that's the moment I'm gonna have to do a self-evaluation and just say, peace out. Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much for that. Yeah, actually, I definitely agree. I'm so not for the situationships. They definitely do get blurry, unfortunately, and I think.
And what if you miss your husband while in the situationship? What if you miss your wife while in the situationship?
That's a strong possibility.
Like,
for sure.
You're in the situationship, someone is not sure that you're taken or not taken, and then you miss out on your blessing because you want to sit here and deal with somebody who's really not trying to deal with you.
That's deep, and that's good that you said that, because ultimately, yes, that's what happens. Like, I do believe that we can prolong our destiny when you're involved in a situationship, or even if you're in a relationship that you know is not for you, you're just prolonging your blessing. And so if we're honest, let's say you're in a situationship, no title, no commitment. Somebody comes to you and they're like, okay, everything that you allegedly wanted, right? But you're attached to that person. You're not gonna give it your all. You're not gonna be into that person because your feelings are now involved, intertwined with that situationship. Like, that's a lot of power that you have given that situationship. You know what I mean? So yeah, it's a hard no for me. And if you're in one anyway, we want to help you. Don't just cut it off. Cut it off if that's what you want. How about that? Because some people
don't mind it.
They say they don't mind it. Okay. Okay, good. We're gonna leave it at that. All right, so thank you so much for that response. My next question to you is, so I know we left off with part of it we spoke about virginity. You shared you are a virgin, and the things that God has kept you from because of that. So that's really great. I want to know, let's talk about urges. What say ye? Like, what have you been doing to remain, keeping it locked up? You know what I'm saying? Because we are human.
Yes.
It has been a long time. I know you didn't share your age. You are 20 something.
Yes.
More so towards the end. I know people don't want to, whatever. But
so what? Right clocking me.
Yeah. Yes. I understand. But so what do you do? How?
That's a great question. I mean, so listen, urges when you're single versus urges when you're in a relationship is so different. Okay. And I only could think about it because I think about it now because I'm actually, engaged. And so when I was single, it was easy to fight urges because I didn't have anybody. I didn't really, care. And you know what I'm saying? So for me, it was just like there was nobody in my space where I felt like, oh, I need to fight off of these urges and whatever. I was chilling, you know what I'm saying? But when you are in a relationship and you really, truly love the person and, this is the person that you're going to spend the rest of your life with and you're trying to do it God's way, it's hard. Yeah. It's really, really hard, because you do love the person and you want to be able to express your love in many different ways. But I think for us, how we fight urges is we keep the goal God's. Like, we keep the goal, like, we want to do this God's way. Yeah. For sure. And it's not just me. Yeah, right. That helps. It's also the fact that my partner, is also has that same goal, which is we want to do things God's way, and because we both want to do things God's way, we're able to, because we're aligned in that way, we're able to fight off any urges. So that means I'm not sleeping over this man's house. You know what I'm saying? He's not sleeping over me. You know what I'm saying? We're not going on vacations or whatever people want to do when they're in relationships and so on and so forth, because obviously we know that can open the door for something else, right?
Cut it out if you saying anybody.
I'm just saying, what we know for us, it's not gonna work for us because we're attracted to each other in a way where, of course, it can get there if we wanted it to go there, right? And then also too, we're honest with ourselves, right? Please, y'all know when y'all feeling hot. y'all know when things are like, oh my gosh, the hormones are raging or whatever the case may be. So you have to just be honest with yourself, and then also having him as a partner makes it so much easier.
Absolutely.
Or easier and harder, because I'm attracted to him.
Yeah, but easier
in the sense because the goal is
so
doing
equally
it God's
yoked
way. Yeah, equally yoked.
That decision for sure.
Like
I love it.
so the fact that like even when I feel weak or even if he feels weak, because we both have the same goal, we both can be able to like help each other in a sense.
Yeah.
So it's like oh my gosh, I'm feeling weak, but it's like God's way.
Come on.
And then vice versa. Yeah, and then also too, like I always think about like we've definitely made it thus far, so it's like a few months don't hurt.
Come on.
Yeah. So that's how we kind of fight off urges.
Amen.
We communicate.
So I think a good way too. I think what you were saying about being realistic, be honest with yourself, right? Stop playing yourself. Stop. Okay, because you will say these things, but you already know what's going down. You already know what you even planned in your mind. Vacations for sure. Like knock it off. Okay.
They be saying they sleep in separate beds on vacations.
Okay. Who are they?
That's what they say.
Say that?
I've seen it. I've seen the Saints.
Okay. The Saints or the Aints?
Both.
And they sleep. Okay, that's good. Shout out to you, right? That's good. I think prayer. I think keeping the main thing. Prayer is really important. I remember when I was celibate for like it was definitely a lot of years, like because I had stages, right? Because then if I was in a relationship and then if I broke up, I'm like, okay, no, right? For me, I definitely prayed, and I shared this one time too. It's hilarious because I prayed that God take away the urges. Okay, because it's crazy. It's like, okay, come on, devil. At this point, you feeling enraged. Okay, get cold showers by yourself. Work, cut it out right there. Right. But I remember praying. I was like, because I was really serious about it. To take away the urges, right? And then, when you ask God for something, it happens. So at one point, I don't even remember how many years passed by, but I remembered that I prayed that prayer. And I was like, wait, God, did you take it away completely? Like, does it work? Like, I just want to know, right? And obviously it works, right? Eventually with my husband, we both were celibate. We waited until we got married. To do that. But I think, what else did I say? I said prayer. You said no vacation. Be honest with yourself. No, don't be sleeping over the people's homes. Communication is important. And then when you think about it too, like again, like I said, you made it thus far. Like you literally have the rest of your life. Like you're gonna see like. You're gonna probably be like, okay, enough is enough. Like you're gonna have these times, like it's just so it's worth the wait. Like you're not missing out. You're gonna when it's time, it's gonna be amazing in Jesus' name. And you're all in a mirror. Please, you're gonna make up for it. I want you to know, and then some. So, anything else that people could? Oh, you said communication. You said that.
Communicate for sure, and know yourself. Know your body. Know you for sure. Know you. Okay, please. And I know that man. Okay, you can't be or know the woman. You know what I'm saying? If they certain things, y'all, you try to put on to make you look extra good, and I'm not saying you can't look extra good. You can look extra good, but
stop. No, I get it. And so even for those who are like probably struggling with playing with themselves, masturbation, I think that's an important topic to discuss. I think that and so I remember I had a friend, and she would tell me. So when I learned that it was wrong, right, I told her, I was like, yo, do you know that we are not supposed to be doing that? And she was like, for real? And so I was just like, okay, no. So I'm no longer gonna do that. And then, so we actually held each other accountable. So she would be like, oh, so it's been X amount of months, or this month I haven't done that. And I'm like, oh yeah, that's so nice. Like once we learn, like I literally was out here in this world thinking that it's okay. And so I don't know if, just to go a little bit deeper, some people may say, and if we're justifying it, I want you to know that is also a problem, right? Because the Bible doesn't specifically say like, no, masturbation is a sin, whatever. But if the process is lustful thoughts,
yes, absolutely,
self gratification, like, you know what I mean, like, you know that it is wrong. And so if you are out there struggling, maybe you can get an accountability partner, and you definitely just pray. I promise you, like, literally, when you're like, God will help you, right? But you have to want it for real, wholeheartedly. I promise you. So I think that helps as well.
I think accountability is definitely important, because I mean, who you surround yourself around, like, they could play into whatever it is that you're doing. So definitely, like, if you got 15 of your sisters who are just like, you know, let's keep this going. Like, I know you're struggling, but let's do this and stuff like that. And then find some hobbies, find some things that you can try to, I don't know, work out. Find other ways in which you can, like, you know, release all of that tension and stuff like that, and then have your sisters or your brothers hold you accountable to that, right? Because at the end of the day, like, you know, it's for a good reason.
And you don't want to be that person to, like, start to depend on yourself, because you're now doing it yourself. You think you're the best, you could whatever, I don't need nobody, blah blah blah. It's like, that's not cool. And while I've never struggled with pornography, I know a lot of people are or have, you know what I'm saying? And I do think, like, accountability partners, somebody for real, like your real friend who's gonna help you, you know, with that. Pray, again, like prayer, you fasting, you know, all of those things. But we want to remain pure, right? As pure as possible. Right. Okay, good. Thank you so much for that. Let me see. Okay, so, and again, along the lines of the urges, what do you think about kissing while dating?
Okay,
some people think it's extreme to not, like, whatever, but you let me know.
So I think for me, so I'm gonna speak in general, then I'm gonna speak for me.
Okay.
I think in general, I think it's a case by case. It's case by case, right? Only because you know how far you can go before it gets too far.
Yes.
And if you know that kissing gets you to that point of, oh my gosh, it's going to get me to a point where I'm going to sleep with this person, then maybe you should limit that or eliminate it completely, right? Depending on your urges and how, you know, where kissing can take you. I think for me personally, I've never had an issue with kissing, only because also too, I knew that I wasn't going to do anything else. So I think for me, kissing was just like whatever. And also too, I don't kiss many people, like you know, whatever. So I feel like it's case by case. I think if you know that you can hold, like, you know, pull it together and hold yourself, then, you know, it should be fine. But now you're not about to sit there and kiss in a dark room and for 5-10 minutes and then think like, oh this is it.
Then you start touching.
You know what I'm saying? So you have to also know yourself, like we were saying, know yourself, know your body, know your partner, and stuff like that. So I think it's case by case. If you feel like, you know, kissing, you can kiss without, you know, it going too far, then okay, cool. But then also too, you have to know your boundaries even within kissing, right? For sure. You know, I'm not going to touch below the belt and all of this stuff. And there are certain things that you have to put in place, you know, even if you are going to kiss, right? But then there are some people that I know that who don't kiss because they know that kissing can lead, kissing can lead to them doing more. So in order to limit all of that, they, you know, they just stop kissing completely. And so I say for that, to each their own. But then you know yourself and be realistic, for sure.
For sure. Amen. I think I agree with that. I have heard people say that they just cannot do that. That wasn't a thing for me, but then if I did feel like, okay, it's getting a little hot and heavy, like, let's just stop, right? So you definitely do have to know yourself, and you have to be honest. You know what I'm saying? And again, keeping that the goal, like, if you are really serious about it, like, I feel like you're not gonna break that, but you do have to know yourself and where it can lead you and stuff. So it is case by case. Just, you know, God always, you know, provides a way out. So don't be putting yourself in, you know what I'm saying?
It's true. He provides a way out,
like something's gonna happen. Hold on. And now you have a way of escape. So yes, that is good. Let's see, my next question for you. Okay, this might be a little controversial. But honestly, things we said may have been controversial.
Yeah,
like
I
you
mean,
never really know.
if
You know
you
what I'm
don't
saying?
like
Like
the
if you don't like it,
information-
yeah, like it is what it is.
Click out, yeah, the video.
You can subscribe first, but yes, you can. All right. So my question to you is, because again, people have had these conversations with me, whatever. How long do you believe someone should be dating before they get engaged, and how long should they be engaged before they get married?
Okay, that is another case by case for me.
Okay.
And the reason why I say it's another case by case, because I feel like a lot of this is based on what the individual wants as a person, right? So let me speak for me personally. In me getting into a relationship with my now fiance, I made it very clear, like, I'm not gonna waste any time, right? So like, you're at a stage in your life, like you're grown. I'm at a stage in my life where I feel like, you know, like I'm ready for marriage, and so that was a conversation that we had very early on, and that was a conversation for me to have because I wanted him to know, like, if you're not ready for that, then it's okay. Like, you could skip me. I'm fine with that. But he did skip me. Yeah. So, and I was okay with that too. I was okay with even the outcome of that, however it may have went, right? So I made it known from the beginning, like, this is what I wanted, and I wasn't gonna wait 5 years to get it, and I wasn't gonna wait 10 years to get it. That was just me. That was a personal preference of mine, right? But then there are people who feel like, you know, I can wait, like, I'm young and I'll date for 5 years. But then also too, you have to take into consideration, all right, if you're dating God's way for 5 years, are you not having sex before marriage? Right?
Correct.
Are you like, is there self-control there, right? Are you not doing things like, you have to take that into consideration too, right? Because even with me, I have to take that into consideration. Like, if I'm dating for marriage, I'm not waiting 5 years to sleep with this person, right? And that's just me being honest. That's just me being real. So I was all right. I'm at a point where I feel like I want to date, and I want to date for marriage, and I don't want it to take that long. And so for me, I made it very clear. Like, I had a number in my mind. Okay. I didn't share the number with him necessarily, you know. But I was just like, listen, like, you know, like, don't waste my time. I'm not trying to waste your time. You know what I'm saying? Like, you probably can find somebody that could wait 4 or 5 years. You know, when you have it all together, whatever the case may be, and that's cool. And so yeah. So long story short, I think it depends on the person, and on how long you want to wait. But I want to put out this caveat, right? If you know that you want to get married, right? Like, I personally don't think that you should have to be in a relationship for 10, 15 years before a person can make up their mind as to if they want to spend the rest of their life with you that way. Especially like if you're trying to do things God's way. Yeah. I don't think that it has to take that long, right? And I know that people try to be like, oh, you know, he's trying to get his situation together, or I'm trying to get my situation together. Maybe you guys can get your situation together. Right? Together. You know? And it's okay, right? You can go to the courthouse and you can get married that way. You don't have to have an extravagant thing. Like, if you know that, like, hey, this is something that we want to do, and we want to do it God's way, and we don't want to wait 15 years, then go do it. So I say that to say, like, it depends on the person and where they are in life and what they want for themselves. But for me personally, like, I wasn't going to spend a long time dating, and I wasn't going to spend a long time engaged.
Do you care to share the number?
Oh, okay. She's like, girls, cut to the chase and give us the number.
Come on.
Okay, so for me, I had said, like, my goal was like a year and a half. Okay. My goal was a year and a half for engagement, So that was my goal for engagement. But also too, you have to take into consideration, for me, I scope the scenery before I date somebody. And I'm hoping that everyone does that. Yeah, I'm hoping that everyone kind of like scopes the scene and sees how this person really is, and see if it's somebody that you would want to potentially date. But
man of their word.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, you have to, like, you know, see certain qualities and be like, okay, somebody I could date. So so a year and a half, and then my engagement period is going to be for a year and like 4 months. So a year and a half. Right?
Is it? No.
Oh no, it's shorter than that.
I think it's shorter. Well, girl, math ain't for me.
Math ain't for me.
It's not for you either.
It's not for me. But I got engaged this year and I'm getting married next year.
Okay, right. But okay, yeah.
Yeah, so
Okay.
so that was that. So the whole God willing, we make it to next year. We started dating June of 2023. What year are we in?
I thought it was May.
No, that was our first date.
The first date.
Our first date.
The first date.
Our first date. You did a great first date.
You did amazing.
But yeah, we got
together.
Yeah,
Okay.
officially. So yeah, so we were talking for whatever,
Mm-hmm.
and then we got together in June of 2023.
Mm-hmm.
We got engaged July of 2024.
Yeah.
So what is that? A year and a month.
Yeah.
And then yeah, we're getting married next year.
Nice.
Yeah.
I absolutely love it. Yeah, and I think those numbers are fair. I think it's reasonable. And again, to each their own. However, what I really want people to do is be honest with themselves. And what do I mean by that? I feel like I've had conversations with people where they were in relationships or are in relationships, and initially the goal was, I want to get married.
Yes.
You understand?
Mm-hmm.
And then somewhere along the lines, the song changes, the tone changes, and I'm like, okay. So in the event that you're saying that you no longer want to get married, or it's not that big of a deal, I want you to be honest and let me know, is it because of you?
True.
Or is it because you don't see it in the cards for you? You understand? And you're not ready or willing to let this person go. Because I've literally seen it time and time again. I had somebody actually tell me, like, I actually didn't think it was going to happen. But this person ended up giving the guy wanted to have a kid, and she was like, I'm not having another kid out of wedlock, because she had a previous a kid previously from this guy, and then he also had a kid, whatever. But she was like, I'm not doing that unless I'm married. And okay, homeboy eventually, proposed, okay, and I think that's cool, because like at least you stood your ground. You know what I mean?
For sure.
But hearing her say, like, I really didn't think it was gonna happen. So in the event that you didn't say that, like you just really just live together, doing all those things without the title, it's crazy. I don't know any. I was trying to say something. But nah,
politically correct.
Forget it. I can't. It's crazy, and it's unfortunate. You know what I'm saying? When people do that, and then you just lose hope, and you just feel like you're stuck, and then you feel like that's the only person for me, because so many years have passed by.
And that's the thing, though. I feel like you spent a good amount of time in this relationship. So what's the difference between spending that time in that relationship and spending that time married? Right? Like,
you tell me. You know what I'm saying?
No, I really, that's a valid question.
Valid.
Like, what is the difference? If something happens, you guys get to just leave, and that's that. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, what would be the whole point of that, right? If the goal is that you're spending the rest of your life with this person, right? And you see this person long term, right? Because you already seen them long term, the 10 years and 15 years.
Mad long term, like how much longer term?
You did, so it's just like
longer term.
So I don't know what the fear is behind getting married.
And I do think, unfortunately, like, society does play a role, as with many things. But I hear often, and I think that's just how the human brain works, unless you're not like consciously making sure I'm gonna stick to the positive. Because people have said, like, it's like either vicarious trauma, or it don't even be vicarious trauma for real. It'd be like you heard someone say it, don't know them, or you watched a clip or something, snippet of something, and it's like, 50% of marriages end up in divorce. All right, well, if that's the case, I don't even know what the stats are in 2024, but what about the ones that the other 50% that's striving, that's thriving? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, what about those people? Like, why do we cancel out the negative? No, cancel out the positive. Excuse me, to go directly to. But if it's half and half, then why yours can't be the half that does work?
Yeah.
What can I do to make it work? You know what I mean? But the extended period of time, I do feel like, you got to just be honest with yourself. And I used to say, when I was like younger, and people were they were just dating for however, me personally, I don't believe that, you know, teens and stuff should be in a relationship. That I wholeheartedly do not agree with that. And not saying that it cannot work, but if we're being honest, like, you know, especially how, you know, our brains work, and you know, studies have shown like either women mature faster than men. And so you're thinking about in high school, right? And so if I'm thinking about college, are you thinking about video games and Jordans? I don't know. And so now we're going through this whole long period, right? And yes, you know, there's gonna be infidelity, right? Because you guys are whatever, and you know, or maybe one person is just out there doing it. I don't know how it goes, but all of those years, like I forgot who used to say like don't waste your pretty, or the Bible's like don't cast your pearls to swine. Like you're literally giving your young year, like, you understand what I'm saying? And you don't even understand the commitment, right? You don't understand what it takes to be emotionally involved with somebody. You know what I'm saying? It's more like a trend, you know. And then unfortunately, a lot of times people get like jaded, or you know what I'm saying? Like it's just, I'm not saying it cannot work. I don't know many. Okay. I don't know. Let me not say many. I think I maybe know one, and then the other one I know is just, it's not good. Okay. So I don't think that, it just doesn't make sense. Like literally be real, know what it is that you want, and don't fall for the okie doke. Okay, if you're saying that that's what you want, you're gonna get what you want if it's God's will. You understand? But don't just settle for 10 years, but prior to that you knew what you wanted, but because of some reason the person's like, oh no, or I'm not ready. I don't know what else it takes. What does it need? What else does it take for you to get ready? Like, I want to help somebody out here, okay? Like, stop wasting your time. Like, you cannot get your time back. It's so valuable. It's so expensive.
Yes, it is.
And the damage that it does, and for you to recover, and some people don't even come out of that. Like, it can really, like, damage you so much. And to the point where you out here being bitter Betty, saying those things that, marriage is not from that, all of that stuff. Like, no, listen. And if you're doing it the right way, listen, God did these things. He placed these various boundaries and all that stuff to protect us, literally. You know, we may feel at the moment, because our flesh is like, oh, I want what I want. But it's like, no, let me tell you what you need. And
you want what you want, but you don't even know what you need for real.
That part. Let me tell you, it was so funny. I remember speaking to one of the, I always say youth, but she's a young adult. And so she said something like, she was telling me that there was this guy who was interested in her. And then she said like, and I thought it was really funny. However, you know me, I'm like, that's funny, but wow, that's so deep. Like, you know, I'm gonna unpack and all that other whatever. So then she was like, oh I don't, he has, I feel like she said he has a few diagnoses actually. Like few. Let me say a couple, because a couple is two, few is three. It was two.
Okay, right? No shade to anyone who has any diagnosis.
Okay. And so she said, you know what? She's like, no, I'm not finna deal with his stuff or whatever. And while the way she said it and everything, it was super funny. But I was like, that's super deep, because a lot of times when people get into relationships, not even thinking about those things, right? Now, if you're in a relationship with somebody that does have any type of mental illness or whatever, or how about spiritual, like they have demons, you understand what I'm saying? Like, you are now intertwined with the person. Like, it is so much deeper than just that surface thing. Like, oh, we can take pictures, vacation, all that silly stuff. Anyway, I think that this is another reason. And it doesn't necessarily have to, no. So definitely, I don't think teens should be dating. But
what is a good age, though, for
me personally? You know, a lot of people do not agree with me. So I'm going to go with, I think it definitely depends on the maturity of the person. But you have to be honest with yourself. You understand? Like, so I feel like your age is good, but I do know people your age that are not mature to be in a relationship. So I want to say more so your maturity level, for real maturity level, okay? Because understand, like, it comes out by your fruit, right? A lot of times people are like, oh, the person is so much, and I even have said, like, other people, I'm like, oh wow, this person is young, but they're so mature. I promise you, there's always something where I see, the age is
see
coming
the
out.
age,
Like
yeah.
I see it. Like no, not in that area. You understand what I'm saying? Or like maybe because again, what ends up happening is that it's so easy to talk the talk.
Yeah, of
but
course.
can you walk the walk?
Yeah.
Because I can regurgitate what you told me. I could say it and sound so good. Like wow, you know, all that stuff.
Yeah.
Then you have to apply it, and I'm like, oh.
Yeah, it's different.
You're not mature. So I would say that I definitely wouldn't say any teen at the end, no. But if you're in the 20s, I would say for real maturity, not fake maturity. And I could elaborate if somebody needs me to. And
yeah.
Yeah, so I think that's it. Did was there any, I don't think I had any other question for you. This I always enjoy these talks. I'm looking at the time. Oh my gosh. See, it's like having these regular conversations, you don't even know, like the time just be flying by. But yeah, I hope this was very helpful to you all. We just want to see people like literally live their best lives, the lives that God has for them. And we could do life together. Like seriously, you need community, right? And so if you there's hope for sure, right? You may see us as your sisters, auntie for me, whatever you see us
I ain't
as.
nobody auntie yet.
Somebody might call you auntie.
No, they're not calling me auntie.
Calm down. So
they're not calling me auntie yet. They're not calling me auntie yet. They're calling me big sister, but not auntie.
Okay, well, whatever. You know what I'm saying? Whatever, however you see us. And I hope that, you know, this conversation really does help somebody and share the conversation out, right? Some people may be struggling, may need to know. They may not have the right guidance. You know what I'm saying? So I appreciate you even coming to talk about this and part 2. So
my pleasure.
Yes, the heart. Listen, I don't know if y'all want a part 3. Are you willing to do a part 3?
Yes.
Why you did it like that? Like, what else we got to say?
Tired.
I don't know. There may be other questions I can ask you, right? Possibly like, you know, people, ministry in churches, spouses and stuff like that. Like that's another it's another level. Like there's so much we could talk about, but I don't want to exhaust this time here. I think we're good here. But yeah, guys, thank you so much for watching till the end. Please let me know in the comments below what you think. Do you want a part 3? What you gleaned from this conversation? If you have any other questions, you already know I'm responding to questions.
Any other topics that you want Stephanie to
for sure. I'm willing. Give me the ideas. I'm willing to deliver. However I can help, however we can help, whatever, I'm with it. Thank you so much. Love you. Bye.